Have you ever noticed that right in the middle of all the instructions about worship and festivals, God suddenly starts talking about farming? It almost feels out of place. In Leviticus 23:22, after describing the Feast of Weeks, God tells Israel, "Don't harvest every corner of your field, and don't go back to pick up what you missed. Leave it for the poor and for the foreigner." At first glance, you might wonder, what does that have to do with worship? The answer is everything. In ancient Israel, there were no food banks, government assistance programs, or social safety nets. If someone was widowed, an orphan, poor, or a foreigner trying to build a new life, they often depended on the generosity of landowners. Rather than simply handing out food, God created a system that preserved dignity. Those in need could work by gathering the grain left behind, a practice called gleaning. We see this beautifully illustrated in the story of Ruth. Ruth, a poor widow and a foreigner, gathered leftover grain in the fields of Boaz. Ruth 2:12. Boaz didn't see the leftovers as a loss. He saw them as an opportunity to reflect God's heart. This wasn't a suggestion, it was an act of worship. Deuteronomy 24:19-22 repeats the same command and reminds Israel, "Remember that you were slaves in Egypt." In other words, because God had shown them mercy, they were to show mercy to others. Jesus carried this same principle into the New Testament. In Matthew 25:35-40, he said that when we feed the hungry, welcome the stranger, and care for those in need, we're serving him. And James 1:27 reminds us that pure religion is caring for widows and orphans while remaining faithful to God. Here's the takeaway. God isn't impressed by worship that's only expressed through songs, prayers, or church attendance. He wants worship that continues after the service ends. The way we treat the vulnerable is one of the clearest reflections of our relationship with Him. Maybe we don't own wheat fields today, but we all have corners we can leave unharvested. Our time, our resources, our influence, our encouragement, or our finances. True worship isn't asking, "How much can I keep?" It's asking, "How can God use what He's given me to bless someone else?"